Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today we're doing a full face of drugstore and affordable makeup. I really like doing these videos. I just don't get around to doing them as often as I want because I try to incorporate as many like new products as I can into these videos just so that we can, play around with different stuff. But the star of the show for today is going to be the NYX Born to Glow foundation. Well, kind of sort of. Y'all will see during the during the tutorial, but I finally got around to trying this out, so I will take y'all back and give y'all my initial reaction to this foundation. And then I have a couple of other things that I'm trying for the first time. I have a lot of new eye makeup that I tried out today, and then I pulled out a couple of drugstore and affordable brands products that I haven't touched in a while. I just wanted to revisit them. So I will show y'all, in addition to this foundation, I will show y'all what I used to do my makeup today. I did run into some little issues here and there, but y'all will see that, as we go through. So before we get started, if this is your first time here, welcome and thank you so much for stopping by. My name is SonyaNicole. I really hope that you'll consider subscribing while you're here today. You would really be helping me out and I would really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments when you subscribe because I love to meet y'all, and I definitely want to just say thank you for subscribing. And of course, for those of you who are returning to the channel, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. And per the usual, thank you for your continued support. I really do appreciate it. Okay, you guys, let's jump right into it. Okay, I'm finally getting around to trying the NYX Born to Glow foundation. This one is in the shade Nutmeg. I'm going to try to shake it up, but I think it's kind of thick, so I don't really know if anything is moving around in there. But I don't know if you guys saw my haul video like maybe a couple months ago now. I bought the wrong shade in this, so I finally got the right one, and I've been trying to test this out for like a month. I just couldn't fit it into my schedule. So this one, like I said, is in the shade Nutmeg. I think I just poured out way too much, but we'll see. So I actually like this type of packaging better, but I don't really know like how much I'm putting on. Like I can't really gauge if like this is a pump. I feel like this is a little bit more than a pump, but we'll see. So I'm also going to be trying out a new sponge today. So this is a new sponge from LA Girl, and I kind of already don't like this because I think it's kind of small. So this is my SonyaNicole sponge. This is what I normally use, and this is the LA Girl one. So the LA Girl one is just not as big as the one that I'm used to using. It does feel nice and squishy though, but I just wish it were a little bit bigger. But I'm gonna try this sponge out with this foundation because the foundation is kind of thick. So I usually do like thicker foundations with a sponge and then thinner ones with a brush. I knew that the color was going to be good, which I think it is. I am a little surprised though on the coverage. I feel like I put a lot of product and I feel like I can still see everything. Now part of that is because I'm using a sponge, so this just naturally soaks up more product, but I was expecting this to give me some more coverage. But let me see if I can gauge like putting the same amount on this side, and then I think I'm gonna go in with another layer and blend out the second layer with a brush. So the foundation feels nice so far. I'm just not really, I don't know if it's the sponge or if it's the foundation. I don't know. I don't like the sponge, but let me just keep going. I feel like it's the sponge that is like not giving me as much coverage as I thought I was gonna get. I'm gonna go in with one more layer and I'm gonna try blending it out with my foundation brush this time. And let's see what type of coverage we get with this. This is the part of my face where I use to determine like the coverage level because I just have so much scarring to cover up over here. So yeah, that definitely covered up a lot more. So surprisingly with this foundation, well, one thing about this is it'll make it a versatile foundation. So if I want more coverage with this, I would definitely go in with a brush, but I guess I could also use this for like lighter foundation days and go in with a sponge. But I feel like when I blended it out with a sponge, like on here, so this is one layer blended out with a sponge, and I feel like I'm getting like BB cream type coverage over here, whereas over here it's definitely still not full coverage, but it's definitely more coverage than using a sponge. Okay, so we definitely don't have full coverage, which I actually like. I prefer like a medium coverage, so I do like this level of coverage. I will say though, I feel like I had to use quite a bit of product to get this level of coverage, but I think it looks really nice on my face, and I think the shade is a good match, which I was already expecting. And again, this is Nutmeg, just in case you guys can use me as a shade reference. So I'm not going to be doing a wear test in this video, and I'll probably have this makeup on for only about like 4 or 5 hours, but I'm gonna try to wear it again one more time, so that probably within like the next 2 weeks I want to give you guys like a haul update. So I'll definitely make sure that I update you in that video, but I'm not doing a wear test for today. So let's move on to concealer, and this might be a little tricky. I might have to like, you know, do a little mixing here, but I came across this concealer. This is the NYX HD Concealer, and I said, well, let me try this today because number one, I used to really like this concealer like way back in the day, and then I said, well, since I'm doing a NYX foundation, let me also try this NYX concealer. I do know that this won't give me the same amount of coverage as my Too Faced concealer, or lately I've been using the Estee Lauder Double Wear. This coverage is not as good as those two, but it's a really nice color for me, and if I use, unfortunately, like quite a bit of it, I can get, you know, okay coverage. I just can't tell like how much I have left in here, because the applicator, you just can't get a lot of product out on this applicator. It's a really small applicator, and I just can't really tell like how much concealer is in here. So if I feel like it's not enough to do my under eye area, I am going to mix in another concealer that I haven't used in a long time, but I want to see if I can use this one first. I don't know if I just said this, but this is in the shade Tan, so it's going to take me a minute to apply this, I feel like. And I think it was the, I want to say the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I was using this concealer pretty much all the time until I got introduced to the NARS one. Then I haven't really, you know, used this one since. So I am going to go back to this sponge to try and use it for my under eye, because I feel like maybe with it being smaller than my foundation sponge, maybe I'll like this a little bit better for the under eye. So let's try it right here. And just in case you guys are new here, sometimes I try so hard not to repeat myself in every single video, because I know that some of you watch like all of my videos, but I have to repeat certain things for the sake of, you know, people who may be new here. But if you are new here, I like to layer up my under eye concealer. So I always put a little bit on and then blend out the first layer with my sponge. Then I'll put another layer on, let it sit for a while, and then blend it out with a brush. So I do like this sponge for this. However, this sponge serves as like an all-in-one for me, and again, that's because it's so big. Like I can use one side of it to do my foundation, then I can use the other side for my concealer. I guess I could with this. I guess I'm not feeling this sponge because it's just smaller than what I'm used to. For those of you who have YouTube channels, if you go for like a week without filming, do you feel kind of like off your game when you finally go back and film? Because a week is not a long time, but I feel like it is in terms of not filming, because I haven't filmed in like a week and I just feel weird. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm forgetting stuff, or I don't know. I just feel like I'm out of my comfort zone or something. Okay, so this is one layer of the concealer, and just looking at this first layer, I am going to go in with a second layer and I'm going to let it sit for a little bit, but I may go in with another concealer that's just a little bit brighter than this, because I feel like I want something to just brighten up the under eye a little bit. Or maybe I'll try to brighten it up a little bit with another powder. I'll see, but let me just put on the second layer for now so I can let it sit while I do my brows. Okay, I forgot to put some on the corners of my mouth. I always like to let concealer sit right here because I have dark spots here. Okay, so I'm gonna let this concealer sit. I'm gonna do my brows off camera. The only like drugstore affordable brow product that I have is the Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Kit. I know these come in different shades, but I don't see the shade name on here. But anyway, this is what it looks like. As you can see, I've like really hit pan on this. I never use like this wax down here, but I use these two powders quite a bit. So I'm gonna do my brows off camera with this, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm gonna blend the concealer around my mouth and under my eye, and I always like to do the second layer of the under eye concealer with a brush. I just feel like it gives you more coverage because like we were saying earlier with the sponge, it just soaks up more product. I am going to pick up the sponge one more time, and I'm just going to smooth out the under eye area, and then I'm just going to smooth everything out, make sure that there's no harsh lines, make sure everything is nice and blended. And I do feel like I'm going to stick with this concealer. Like normally, I think my under eyes are normally a little brighter than this, but I think I'm going to stick with this and then just try to rely on my powder to give me a little more brightness. So I'm going to try the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder, and this one is in the shade Pink. It's called Light Pink. So the first time I tried this, I wasn't too crazy about it, but I do want to try it again just because I only tried it once, and I feel like I want to just try it again just to make sure like I don't like it, or you know, maybe I'll have a different opinion this time. But let me show y'all what the color of it looks like. It's a nice pink powder, which is why I bought it, because I love coming across pink powders. I feel like I don't come across them very often. I am going to use my SonyaNicole sponge though to set the under eye area. I just feel like this sponge is just like more plush. It's not like, this is a nice soft sponge, but this one is just softer. I feel like I'm gonna like this one better for the under eye. So that is that's a little more powder than I wanted to use, but we'll work it out. Well, I feel like it did add a little bit of brightness to the area. And if I recall correctly, I don't remember exactly what it was that I didn't like about this powder the first time I used it, but I think it had something to do with the way that it was blending out. I thought it was blending out kind of splotchy, I feel like. Today, I feel like it's blending out just fine. I do think it's leaving kind of like a sort of ashy undertone, I guess. Like it's kind of like just sitting on my face and not really like blending in. Maybe that's what it was the first time around. I don't think it looks horrible though, but I don't know how often I would, you know, pick up that powder. So for the rest of my face, I'm gonna go in with the Maybelline Fit Me powder. This one is in the shade Light. I feel like I kind of recently used this. Actually, I did. I poured out way too much. I used this in one of my Rare Beauty videos because the I have two shades of the Rare Beauty concealer. Both of them are like really bright under my eye, and I remember I used this powder to kind of like tone it down a little bit. All right, so I'm just picking up some on a big fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna use this to set the rest of my face. I don't like the way my under eyes look. I do think that they look kind of ashy like. I'm just taking my sponge one more time, and I'm just gonna go over my under eye area again. I really don't know what I'm doing right now, but I feel like, you know, maybe this will either help press the powder into my skin a little bit more, or maybe it'll pick some of the powder up off of this area. I just really don't like the way the under eye area looks. I think it's coming off kind of grayish because of that powder. So yeah, and I don't really know how to fix it, and I'm scared to like go back on top of it with more concealer because maybe I'll make it worse. So I'm just gonna leave it like this for now, and we're gonna move on. So I'm gonna move on to my eyeshadow. So I'm gonna try a new primer today. This is the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer, and I'm wondering if this will be any kind of a dupe to my beloved MAC paint pot. So this is a MAC paint pot. This is in the shade Painterly, and then this e.l.f. primer is in the shade Rouge. So that's what they look like side by side. The colors are a little different, but I'm just wondering, I guess because of the packaging, I'm wondering if the e.l.f. one is going to be anything like my MAC one. So I'm just going to pick a little bit up on my finger here. Already this feels like a bit more I guess more slippery than the MAC paint pot. It doesn't have like as much of a gripping feeling as the MAC paint pot, which that's one of the reasons why I love the MAC paint pot, because I feel like it's a really good balance of smoothness and tackiness. And so far, this doesn't feel bad. It just doesn't feel as tacky as the MAC one. I do have to say though, like even though I'm going to go right on top of this with eyeshadow and completely cover it up anyway, I do feel like I like the color of this better. Like it blends out the darkness on my lids, but it kind of blends into the shade of my skin better than the MAC paint pot. The MAC one is just a little bit brighter, I guess, so just naturally it's not going to blend into the skin as much. Okay, and for eyeshadow, I think I'm going to use, I know I'm going to use one of these eyeshadows, but I may use two of them. So I have two of the e.l.f. bite-size eyeshadows. I'm using a lot of e.l.f. today, huh? Well, no, this is only like my third e.l.f. product. But anyway, I'm going to use this one for sure. This one is called Rose Water. But I think I may tap into this one also. This is called Truffles. I may tap into this one to use that dark brown shade and maybe even this silver one here. I'm not sure yet. But this one here, Truffles, this dark shade down here, I hope you guys can see that it has like some gold reflex to it, which is why I don't want to use that. So I think I'm going to use maybe these three shades and then tap into the other one for a dark brown. But I will see as I go along. So I'm taking this shade here. This is going to be my main lid color for today. And I'm just going to pack that on the majority of my lid. I've already used like 3 other of the e.l.f. bite-size shadow palettes, so I'm already familiar with the formula of these. And what I really like about them is they're really pigmented, they're really smooth, they're really creamy, they don't crease on my eyes at least. And this one here, the purple one, this one does have a good amount of fallout in it, but the other ones that I've used, including this one so far, there's really no fallout with these. And now I'm taking the other shimmery shade in the palette. I'm going to use that for the inner part of my lid. Oh, that's really silvery. It's a lot more silvery than I thought, which is great because I was thinking about going into the other palette for that silvery shade, but I feel like this one will work just fine. I really like that. I'm gonna go in with this dark brown shade here. This is in the Truffles palette, and I'm just gonna pack it on this outer corner here. And then I'm also just gonna drag it into the crease just a little bit. I'm just blending where the matte and the shimmer shades are meeting each other, just to make sure they're really nice and blended. I'm going to put some more of that dark brown shade on my lower lash line, the outer corner part. And then I'm going to take the lighter brown shade in this palette. I'm going to use that to buff everything out. So I'm just going to be buffing this around the dark brown shade on the outer corner. And I'm also taking it down to the lower lash line and underneath the dark brown to further buff that out as well. Okay, we're gonna stop there with the eyes for now. So I did get a little bit of fallout with this palette, but I feel like so far out of all of the e.l.f. bite-sized palettes, I feel like this one is my favorite so far. I still have to experiment with this shade down on the corner, and I don't know how I would feel about that because it has the gold reflex in it, but those two shades, that the shimmer shades that I have on my lid, I really like those two colors together. I really like this eye look so far. Okay, so moving back to the face, the last time I did my makeup, I accidentally put my blush on before my bronzer. I usually do bronzer first, but I actually liked that better because it kind of forced me to not use as much bronzer, and I just like the way my cheeks looked better that way. So I'm gonna go in with my blush first, and I'm gonna be using the Bella blush from Juvia's Place. I feel like I may have used this, I think this is my first time using it, but I'm not positive about that. It doesn't look like in the pan, it doesn't look like I've touched it, but I really can't remember if I tried this out before or not. But I'm gonna go in with this one today, and Juvia's Place, like everything is like super pigmented, so I'm gonna go in really light-handed with this. Like I feel like that might be too much, but we'll see. But I'm just going to plop this on like the apple parts of my cheeks. My under eyes are really irking me right now. I do not like the way that they look. They look gray to me, like oh well. But I'm gonna put this on the apples of my cheeks. So it's not as pigmented as I thought, because I was just expecting, like, you know, much more pigment than what I'm getting, which is great. And for my bronzer, I'm going to be revisiting the Revolution Glow Splendor Ultra Matte Bronzer. I used this once and it was okay. It's a little dark for me. Like, I can wear this, but it's a little deeper than some of the bronzers that I normally use. Now, this smells like, this has like a really strong like pineapple coconut scent, and I'm not really a big fan of, I picked up the wrong brush. I'm not a big fan of like makeup and skincare that smells like fruit, but this one you can't really smell it like once you put it on. So because I already have my blush on, I'm stopping my bronzer kind of like right where my blush starts. And that's what I did the other day when I accidentally put the blush on first. And I feel like I like that better. Like, it made me feel like maybe I was bringing my bronzer down like way too low on my face. So I think I'm gonna start applying it like this. I mean, I could still do the bronzer first and just remember to like stop right here, but I feel like having the blush on already is kind of like just forcing me to stop further back. I'm gonna apply just a little bit along my jawline and then on my forehead as well. And then just switching to another brush to get my nose. And then just lightly blend out that bronzer on my nose just to soften it back out a little bit. And for my highlighter, I'm going to be using the Physicians Formula Butter Highlighter in Rose Gold. This is a really nice, subtle highlighter on me. And just in case you haven't tried one of these, they are really, really soft and buttery. They feel really good on the skin. So I'm going to go in with this today, and I'm just going to lightly apply this to the high points of the cheek because I've been using a lot less highlighter lately. And it seems like a lot of people are using less highlighter. Like, I feel like I hear a lot of people saying that in their videos. So I guess that's just, you know, a trend that's changing these days. I'm gonna tone this down a little bit. I kind of applied it unevenly. I applied a lot more over here than I did over here. Okay, I'm setting everything with the e.l.f. Stay All Night Micro Fine Setting Mist. So I actually had to change the mister on here. Let me shake it up really quickly. I actually took the mister from another spray bottle and switched them out because the one that came with this was not working, and it's been driving me crazy not being able to use this because this is a really good setting spray. So I'm going to go ahead and set everything with this. Okay, and for my eyeliner and mascara, I'm going to try something a little different today. I don't know how this is going to work or if I'm going to like it, but I'm going to try because we're just, you know, playing around today. I'm going to be trying the NYX Epic Ink Liner, and this is in the shade Brown. So let me show y'all what it looks like. Now I bought this because it's a brush tip applicator, which I absolutely love. I didn't realize though that this was waterproof. If I had realized that, I probably wouldn't have bought it, but I'm gonna go ahead and try it anyway. And then I'm also gonna try the Maybelline Total Temptation mascara, and this one is in the shade Deep Cocoa. And that's what this looks like here. So I decided to try brown liner and mascara just to try something different and see, you know, how I like it. So I'm gonna put these on off camera and then I will be back. Okay, my eyes are done. I will zoom you in. Let me know what you think. Can you tell that the mascara is brown and not black? I know you can barely see the eyeliner, but the only reason I chose a brown liner is because I just felt like it would blend in better with the brown mascara. But let me know what y'all think. I like it. I think it looks like more like a softer look, you know? So I feel like I might play around with the brown mascara and liner a little bit more here and there, but I like it. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all, in the inner corner, I forgot to do my inner corner. This is the second time that I've done that. I usually do my inner corner before I set my face, but I forgot again. But I went in with this shade here, and this is just more of like a sparkly silver than like the shade that I have on the inner corner. So I just added this one to give like more of like a gradient. So yeah, let me know what y'all think about the finished eye look. So I have like 3 different lip options in front of me today, but even though I haven't really been into glosses too much, because I feel like you're either in the house or you're wearing a mask, and I'm only putting on lipstick, makeup in general, just for the sake of filming anyway. But I do feel like I want to do a glossy lip for today. So I'm gonna try this lip liner. This is the Essence Soft Contouring Lip Liner, and this is in the shade Deeply Intoxicated. So that's what this looks like. It's basically like a reddish brown liner. So I'm gonna try this for today, and I feel like I'm just gonna do liner and gloss. So I think I'm gonna put on a good amount of this and kind of sheer it out a little bit. This color is different from what I thought it was gonna be. It's definitely more red than it is brown. I'm just kind of smearing it out. I think I want to add another color to this. Like this is, I was expecting this to be much more brown. So I'm also going to add in a little bit of my NYX lip liner in brown and kind of like mix it in together. I think that looks better. And I'm gonna finish everything off with the Essence Shine 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 Wet Look Lip Gloss. I know that was a handful, but this is in the shade Transparent. And I really like these glosses, so I feel like at some point I am gonna go back and get some more colors. It comes in like 12 colors, I think. I just got the clear one just to see if I would like it. But it's like really nice and shiny. I'm gonna have to leave this out so I can clean it off before I put it back. But they are like, this lip gloss is really shiny. I really like this. Okay, and here is my finished look, a full face of drugstore and affordable makeup. So let me just give y'all just a quick rundown on a couple of products. I like this for like an everyday foundation, the NYX Born to Glow. I can tell it's not going to be one of the ones that I'm going to gravitate to because I have a couple others that I just like a little bit better than this. I was wondering if I thought that I was going to like this kind of like as a dupe for the Fenty hydrating foundation, but I don't think that it is. I mean, they do definitely have some similarities, but I definitely like the Fenty foundation better than this one. But this is nice. Like this would be something that I would reach for if I just wanted maybe like lighter coverage. Like I usually go for like medium coverage, but I think this one would be a nice just something to add to the mix, just to wear something different here and there. But it's not going to be a foundation that I'm going to reach for on a regular basis. So this powder, the e.l.f. powder, I really do not like this. I have to go back and watch the video that I did when I tested this out for the first time, because I can't remember exactly what it was that I didn't like about it, but I do not like the way that my under eyes look today. I feel like they look really like just ashy, like, and it's this powder. Like I just do not, I'm not feeling this powder at all. I am loving the brown eyeliner and mascara, so I feel like I'm going to be using these more often, and I think that this is my new favorite e.l.f. palette. I really like that shade like in my inner corner. And then lastly, this sponge. I could see myself using this sponge for my concealer, but I definitely don't like it for my foundation. I feel like I'm just used to the Sonia Kashuk sponge, which is bigger. I feel like that's the only reason I don't like this. I'll try it again. We'll see. But yeah, those are my overall thoughts on the product. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the makeup. I really hope that y'all enjoyed the video today. And if you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe before you leave today. And I hope to see y'all back here for my next video. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.